Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our Career Health Hour session. Today is week 2, and today we are going to focus on the seasons of a counseling career, meaning we're looking at our careers as moving through different seasons rather than one straight line. Yeah, for those of you that missed week 1, in week 1 we talked about like career health 101, sustainable enough, and what that looks like. And yeah, you can find the recording on my YouTube channel. That's Wegweiser Counseling. Yeah, it's right here, as you can see my logo here on the slide. For those of you that haven't met me yet, I included a slide here to introduce myself. So my name is Tina Marie Heinrich, but you can just call me Tina, and you can also see my lovely picture here on the slide. A bit about my background. So I'm already holding degrees in business management and economics. So I have an MBA, Master of Science, and a Bachelor of Arts. And I'm currently completing my counseling psychology master's degree, and I'm going to graduate next month, which is really exciting. I am a chartered professional in human resource and have been for 2+ years now. And I'm also a Society of Human Resource Management Certified Professional, or also called SHRM CP. And what I bring here to the table today are over 15 years of combined experience in the corporate world, including providing trauma-informed HR. So I do have formal training as trauma-informed HR, as well as experience, leadership, staff management, organizational development, and marketing. So what is our agenda here for today? So we will start with doing a quick welcome and check-in. Then we will spend a bit of time talking about why think in seasons. Then we will switch gears and do our first individual activity for today's session, and that's looking into your counseling career seasons. And then we will go into breakout sessions, where you have the ability to, the option to share your seasons with each other. And then we will do our takeaways and closing. So for today's check-in activity, we will go around our virtual room here. And I would like you to think about a word, just one, that best describes your current season right now, the season you are in particular as a new counselor. You can see some examples here on the slide, so you can pick one of those examples or any other word that comes to your mind. On this slide here, we're going to spend a bit of time talking about why think in seasons. Right, so counseling careers often move through overlapping seasons and not one straight path, as I had mentioned earlier. Talk, for example, about somebody who is in practicum, like most of us here right now. Some of you may use the word you are in planting season, right? Comparing yourself like to a seed. It's lots of things going on or going in the ground, right? It's like, planting your seeds for the summer or for the fall, but not much is visible yet. If you ask somebody else who has already finished practicum and has, their own pretty decent caseload already, they might consider themselves in like early consolidation season. Basically like figuring out what hours or clients and workspaces feel sustainable, like post-practicum. And so what I'm putting out here with those different seasons here, this is not like a fixed or set in stone model. It's more intended to be as a gentle way to remember that each season has different tasks, and you don't have to think that you have to do a mid-career task while you are still in practicum. So our aim for this session here today is to name where you are and what the season actually needs from you, rather than comparing yourself to someone else's season. And before we map this out for an individual activity, let's have a look here at what I put you on the slide with 4 proposed seasons. And again, this is just an example. You could also think about it in a different way. But so I've broken it down into like training practicum as a season 1, where it's really more about like the learning, experimenting. It's a pretty much high structure and lots of input that we receive. Season 2, you could think about it as early or post graduate. In this season here, as a new counselor, we would look into trying to stabilize income and caseload, learning what fits, and continuing to building confidence. Then season 3 is what I would label as mid-career, trying different things out, right? Trying different settings, niche, role, maybe adjusting your workload or adjusting your caseload mix and so on. So you already have gained more experience at that point, and you just want to try to mix things up a bit, see how that goes. And this actually ties into season 4, basically refinement mentoring, right? This is where you know for yourself pretty much what feels most alive, and that's what you are focusing on. And this would also be a stage quite often where you start mentoring others or providing supervision to new counselors. Again, this is just an idea what those different seasons look like. Feel free to come up with your own layout. Also, what I want to mention is it is actually quite normal that you might be going back and forth between different season here. Right? As I said, it's not set in stone. And the point is to ask here, what does my current season need most? And not asking a question like, oh, am I behind? And you get the idea. Okay. Okay. So let's actually put this into practice. So for today's individual activity, it's actually quite packed. And so before I set the timer here, so you can start working on this, so it will be about 10 minutes, I will quickly go through what you're going to do here today. So on a piece of paper, I would like you to first start with drawing a simple line, um, like from left to right, basically, and to mark 3 points. Left would be before practicum or training. Middle would be now. Where are you right now? So depending where you are, like either like early practicum, mid practicum, or close to completing practicum, or post practicum. And then on the right, you would think about the next 1 to 3 years, right? So the first task here is very simple. It's just drawing out a line basically on a piece of paper. Then in the second step, I would like you to name your seasons. So under each point, I would like you to write down 2 to 3 words or short phrases describing the season you were or are in. And I would like you to do this for all 3 columns that you created under task 1. And then we will move over to task number 3, is about your needs in this season. So under column now, like the one in the middle, answers a question that is, what does the season need most from me? Right? Try to think about a few things here and write down some bullet points. And then when you're done with this task, move on to step number 4, which is thinking about the future, right? So on the right, you have a column that's about next 1 to 3 years from today. And I would like you to think about a couple questions here. First is, if I imagine that as a season, what would I like to feel more like? And then second one is, what is one small realistic intention that I have that might gently move me toward that feeling without needing all the answers right now? So I know it's a pretty loaded individual activity here. That's why I would say let's start with setting a timer to 10 minutes to see how far you got. And then if you need more time, let me know. But yeah, let's start with 10 minutes here. So we'll start the timer and then we will come back here. How was this activity for you? Well, let's move on here to the next part. In a moment here, I'm going to put you in breakout sessions, like in pairs or groups of 3. And then you will, yeah, and before I'm going to do this, just about the task here that I would like you to focus on. I would like you to share with each other some of your notes under your now season. Like 1 to 2 things you wrote down, what this season needs most from me. If you want to share more, feel free to do so. And then also like your gentle intention for the next season, like for the next 1 to 3 years, what this looks like. Similar as before, please use your own judgments regarding what you are sharing with each other. Remember, this is, a confidential space, and yeah, so use your own judgment. If you are in the role of listening, try to reflect back things that sound wise or kind about how the other person is describing their season, and try to ask curious, non-fixing questions. So it's really about, focusing on listening and validation. The aim here is not to design each other's careers. It's really more about to witness and support each other's season. So looking at the time, I will give you 20 minutes here in the breakout session. So please make sure you manage your time in a way that you can all take turns and have an opportunity to share. And then we will come back here in 20 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. So as we are back here in the main room, yeah, overall, before we get into the prompts here on the slide, how was this activity for you? And then going to the prompts here on the slide, if you want, you can elaborate and pick 1, 2, or more. So for example, if you want, you can share here with the large group, what is one thing you noticed about your current season when you named it? Or what is one small intention you are taking with you for the next 1 to 3 years from today? And if you like, you can share a short sentence here starting with, for this season, it's enough that I blank, right? And you can fill it in here. So I'll give you some time here to think about it. And then if you want, yeah, you can just share your thoughts with the larger group here. Yeah, and the last thing here would be, yeah, just to open it up for any questions that you may have at this point, or feedback, comments. Yeah. And if you cannot think of anything right now, feel free to send me an email, or you can also bring those questions to our next session. Right. So thank you, everybody. And I'm hoping to see you again next week.